Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. It's a new year. I'm so excited. I want to use this opportunity to wish everyone a happy new year and to say thank you for being part of this journey all through last year. I believe that together we can achieve more this year. So stay tuned on this channel. I also believe that we've all benefited in different kind of ways from this channel. All right. If you're yet to subscribe, what are you waiting for? Subscribe. This is a new year. Please subscribe and turn on your notification button. Also share with your colleagues, share with people that you know that are going to benefit from the resources on this channel. Please kindly do that. All right, so the main gist in this video today, we shall be discussing about literature. I did a quick rundown about the whole project in itself, what it entails. And if you could recall then, I said the chapter 2 is the literature review and it explains in details everything your topic contains. It explains in details everything your topic entails. So the name for chapter 2 is called literature review. In this video, I shall dig down into what entails, what literature review entails. You know, on a norm, you want to write a book, you don't just have the whole idea on your head, and then you say that I know what I want to write about, and then you keep writing. No, it's not possible. You have to break them into stages so that it can flow, it can make meaning, it can make sense to your readers. You understand? You need to break it down into different kind of headings. All right, the same thing goes for a research project. And in today's video, discussing literature review, it is important for us to know that literature review is divided into 4 parts. Remember, it brings an in-depth information about our topic. So, inside your literature review, you are going to learn a lot of things about your research topic, your research title, everything you want to work on, everything you want to write about. You are going to have that in-depth understanding of what it is inside your literature review. And if you can recall in the last video, I said that it is when you have an in-depth understanding of what your literature review entails, that is your chapter 2, that is when you can effectively write your chapter 1 in a meaningful way. That is in a way that will convey a meaningful meaning to your readers. All right, let's continue. So today, our literature review is divided into 4 phases. And the first phase, which is called 2.1, remember, literature review is our chapter 2. So the first subsection, which is called 2.1, is the conceptual review. The second section, which is called 2.2, is theoretical review. The third section is empirical review. And the fourth section is the research gap. All these subsections plays different kind of roles in your literature review. They contain different kind of things. Just the way they have different kind of headings, they have their own unique informations that they contains. So they don't consist of the same thing. All right, the first section is conceptual review. But there is no how you can actually write a beautiful conceptual review without starting from your empirical review. And that's the reason why in this video, we shall be focusing on empirical review. If you could recall in the last video, I said again, and like I said earlier on again in this video, I said, before you can write anything meaningful in your projects or in your research projects or including your chapter 1, you have to understand in-depthly your chapter 2, which is your literature review, because your chapter 2 gives an in-depth explanation about what your project entails. And that is the reason why, like I said in the previous video, in every research project, in every research writing or article writing, I will advise that you should always start from your chapter 2, which is your literature review.
Why? Because starting from there enables you to understand the depth, the length of what you want to write on. It gives you in-depth understanding, what you don't even think of. Even when you have that idea of your research topic in your head, you begin to see them, the extent to which people has done different kind of things that you don't even understand before. You begin to understand them, realize them inside your literature review. And when you get to your literature review, it is advisable you start from your empirical review. Because that's starting from your empirical review helps you to understand what people, the things that people have done, the extent to which they have done it. You understand? And you cannot do your empirical review without first understanding the topic, the objective, the method used, and the findings. So that's a very good way to start your literature review before you now move to other aspects, which is your conceptual review. Okay, before I start discussing about the empirical review, let me quickly tell you a quick rundown about what this is all about. The conceptual review discusses the concepts of your research projects. It discusses the concepts of your research projects. The theoretical review discusses the theories that back them up. While the empirical review, we are going to talk about it here, and then we move to the research gap. All right, before I continue, let's talk about the empirical review. All right, there are things to note while trying to write out your empirical review for your research projects. Number one, the empirical review is the review of empirical literatures in your area of study. I hope by now you understand what area of study means. It means what you want to research on. That is your research title, your research topic. Remember, if you could recall in all our previous the videos that we did all through last year, your research topic, your research title emanated from your area of interest. So, empirical review rather is the review of empirical literatures in your area of study. Emphasis is on empirical. I'll take that again. Emphasis is on empirical. The reason is because a lot of people might have written different kind of things on your research topic, different kind of things that are related to your research topic, and they could consist of information that you can find on the internet, information in a blog, information in a newspaper, even informations that you heard. You understand? You heard on television, you heard on radio, or probably you saw, you read on professional websites. It could be an article of about 1,000 pages, and then it could be a conceptual paper. Aside from that, it could also be a general theoretical paper. This kind of paper, they lack measurements. They are not empirically measured. What do I mean by they are not empirically measured? When I say this, I mean that this kind of articles or this kind of things that are written, they do not entail gathering of data. They do not entail analysis of data. And then they do not entail drawing inference and conclusion from the data gathered and analyzed. So those kind of articles or those kind of things that have been written on your work in the area of your study are not empirical. And that is the reason why I said in your empirical review, you only focus on things, articles that are empirical. And what do I mean by empirical? I mean articles that data was gathered on them. That same data was analyzed, and not just that alone, inferences was drawn from the analysis of the data, and conclusion, you understand, conclusion and recommendations are made on the same EU, or let me just say accordingly. So that's the reason why the emphasis is on empirical. So empirical review contains the review of empirical literatures alone in your areas of study. Then the second one is that your empirical review must focus on recent literatures. It must focus on recent literatures. Literatures not older than 5 years. Now, for instance, we are in 2024, and you want to conduct a research in your area of interest, and you want to do your empirical review. So the empirical studies you are going to review under your empirical review must not be older than 5 years. What do I mean by this? You have to count from 2023 downward, and it must not be older than 5 years. So if you want to download articles or literatures in this area, that shows that you have to start from 2021 or 2021. You have to start from, you can start from 2021, sorry, but then you can draw it each, you can make it more than that. You can bring it down to 2020. But the beauty of it is that it must not be older than 5 years. All right. Your empirical review must contain only relevant articles that are relevant to your area of studies, that is, that are relevant to your research topic. For instance, you must not be working on something that has to do with corporate governance, and then you are now bringing in an article or a literature that has to do with ESG. That is, if your topic is not related to corporate governance in line with ESG, if it's just corporate governance and financial performance of firms, you understand, there is nothing ESG wants to do there, because they are not related alone. Every article you must review under it must have to do with corporate governance and financial performance. They have to be relevant to your topic. All right, the next one is that your empirical review must be arranged in a chronological order, starting from the lowest to the highest. What am I trying to say by this? If you want to review your studies, study 1 must not be from something that was done in 2023, and then study 2 is 2020, then study 3 is 2019, study 4 is 2022. You understand? If your base year, what do I mean? That is, the minimum year you are starting from is 2020. Then the way you are going to arrange your empirical literature will be from 2020 down to 2021 to 2022, then to 2023, and then probably to 2024. If you see studies on it on that particular year. So it must begin from the lowest to the highest. It must not begin from the highest to the lowest. It must begin from the lowest to the highest. The essence of this is that you want to show to your readers things that has been done in the previous years on that particular study, that is, that particular topic, the manner at which they've been done, you understand, and what their findings are, you understand, and how it helps, how it will help what you want to do, and also how your own study, that is what you want to do, is distinct, is different, is filling a gap, is filling a problem that has never been addressed by those things. That is, those studies that you are reviewing inside your empirical literature. All right, the next thing is that it must be done in a chronological order. Order of name, yes, country, title, objective, methodology, and findings. Let me quickly say something about this. This is a typical and a traditional way of reviewing an empirical review, or of reviewing literatures empirically. A typical way. If you understand, like if you are vast in what you're doing, like you have an in-depth, you are vast with writing or vast with writing academic paper, you will understand that there are ways you can add some kind of twist to this particular point, and then it will still reveal what you are trying to portray, the information you are trying to portray to your reader. But typically, or let me say traditionally, and for newbies like you, if you want to do this, you must do it. It is being done, rather, following this order. And what do I mean by that? Then you write the name of the authors of that literature, followed by the year of publication, then the country in which that study is being carried out, then the title of the study, the objective of the study, the methodology of the study, and then the findings of the study. I hope you understand. Oftentimes, let me say something, this most of the time actually depends on your supervisor and then the rules of your school. And when you're writing a research article, when you are reviewing a literature in a research article, it doesn't have to follow this particular format. It doesn't have to follow this particular format in any way at all. This particular format that you are seeing here is strictly for project purpose. There are different vast ways you can review your empirical literature while writing for any research article. I will bring an example to this channel so that you can understand. I will do a comparison between the two. Now, if it were to be me, I would take title to be the same thing as objective. Why? Because your objective portray your title. So for me, I would say there is no need to include the title. Just go straight to your objective. But don't let me confuse you. Just understand, for a traditional project writing method, you must review your empirical literature in this manner. I just want you to understand this, that this is a bit subjected to the rule of your school and then your supervisor. Your supervisor might not want you to put the title and just reflect the objective. I hope you understand. All right, let's move to the last point. Now, the literatures could be reviewed geographically or based on your study objective. What do I mean by this? For instance, you could break your literature review down into studies done from developed countries, studies done from developing countries, and studies done in your own particular country where you are writing that project from, where your school, your institution is situated. So you can break it down, and then under your studies done in a developed country, you review empirical literatures chronologically, starting from the highest year, the recent year, to the lowest. And then you do the same thing for the recent one. That is how you review empirical literature geographically, based on geographical location. On the other hand, and let me say a more effective way, but though effective, it is very arduous because it entails a lot of rigor, and that is reviewing your empirical literature based on your study objective. So if you have 5 objectives, you are going to review your empirical literature based on 5 objectives. So objective 1, you are going to write it out. Then you are going to review all the empirical literatures that has been done under those objectives. And of course, remember, they have to be in chronological order from the highest to the lowest. Then you move to your objective 2, you write out the heading, and then you review the literatures that has been done under the same heading 2. Then you move to the third objective, you do the same thing till you are done. Even though this is the most beautiful and interesting way to review an existing literature, or let me just say, to do your empirical review, it is time consuming. And I would say it is more this particular one, that is review literature based on your study objective. I would say the emphasis is more laid on when you are writing a research article, or probably you are writing your master's thesis and your PhD dissertation. But for undergraduate levels, please just restrict yourself to geographical location. And most of the time, or let me just say at times, it's not really even compulsory. You might just have to just review like that. But this particular point, it depends on the rule of your institution and your department and your supervisor. I hope you understand. But to be on the safer side, I will advise, please review geographically, because it's going to help you to understand insights, to bring more beauty to what you're doing, and to help you understand in-depthly on what you are writing on. I hope you understand all this explanation. So that will be all in this video for now. In our next video, I will bring example of how to write an empirical literature. But then, you see, you can follow these points that I listed here to write your empirical literature. But if you want to see vividly, if you want me to demonstrate all these points for you, I am going to do that in the next video, so that what I explained, the points I explained here, can make more meaning to you. Then, before I go, the last thing I need to talk about in this video is that, if you could recall, we did our literature mapping, previous video on our literature mapping. Now, this is the beauty of your literature map. After you've done it, and you review the relevant literatures that are related to your research topic, empirical literatures that are related to your research study, and of course you follow the rule of it must not be older than 5 years. All you need to do at this phase is just to transport what you have under your literature map into your empirical review. That's the essence of the literature map. That's the beauty of the literature map. So you don't need to sit down again and start looking for literatures for you to review under your empirical review anymore. So the essence of your literature map is to bring the same study you review, or let me say you map out, inside your empirical review. So when you were doing your literature map, it as if you were already gathering studies. You're already gathering literatures for your empirical review already. So you don't need to now sit down again and start searching the internet. No. All those studies that you review under your literature map, just transport them into your empirical review and segregate them into geographical locations. You must be able to distinguish developed countries from developing countries, and then from the countries at which you are writing that literature from. You must be able to distinguish it, because you are going to break those literatures down under those headings. And you will arrange them chronologically from the highest to the lowest, and following the rules of the name, the year of publication, country, objective, method, and findings.
I hope you now understand that reviewing, or let me say mapping your literature is not a total waste of time. It's as if you are just walking ahead into the future, into the next phase of what you want to do under your chapter 2. All right, that will be all for now. I'll see you in the next video. Yeah, let's do it over. Kindly don't let us start dragging ourselves again. Subscribe. Turn on your notification button so that you'll be the first to get information whenever we release a new video on this channel. Share with your friends also. This knowledge is not meant for you alone. Together this year, let's grow together in our various endeavors. All right, bye.
See you in the next video.